So every town has their fair share of urban legends, and most towns believe that their legends are unique to their particular town. However, that's not necessarily the case. And before we get started, please remember to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Instagram at Esoteric Atlanta. Okay, let's begin. Welcome to Esoteric Atlanta. My name is Brice, and today we're going to talk about Crybaby Bridge. This particular Crybaby Bridge is located in Columbus, Georgia. Now, if you remember from our previous video about the werewolf of Georgia, Columbus, Georgia is the neighboring town to Talbotton. Columbus, Georgia is right on the Alabama border, and it neighbors with Phoenix City, Alabama. Columbus, Georgia is named after Christopher Columbus, as most towns called Columbus in the United States are named after Christopher Columbus because, that's original. Columbus, Georgia has a population of around 200,000 people, and it is a river town. It is on the Chattahoochee River. The Chattahoochee River runs through Atlanta as well, and one of our favorite things to do as Atlantans in the hot, blazing summer is to shoot the hooch. Crybaby Bridge is the last of 3 wooden bridges located on Whitesville Road. Apparently, because I've never been there myself, but from what I read, the road gets more and more rural as you go down the road. Starts off paved and then it becomes gravel. Kind of spooky, no? So for this particular bridge, the legend states that in the 1800s, a farmer and his wife were pregnant with their 5th child. Now, this farmer and his wife were very poor, and the farmer was very stressed out about how he was going to afford to feed this 5th child. So he made a deal with the delivery doctor that once the baby was born, the doctor would take the baby away and get rid of it. The wife, the mother, never knew. I suppose they were probably going to tell her the baby was dead at birth or something. I don't know. And so this doctor took the baby to the bridge and threw the baby off the bridge. So they say that today, if you go on the bridge on a full moon, you can stop your car, put baby powder around your car, wait in your car, you will hear the baby crying. And then when you get out of your car, you will see footprints and handprints in the baby powder. There's also another legend that states that the mother of this child is also seen wailing, looking for her lost child. It's the common legend around Crybaby Bridge in Columbus, Georgia. Now, I bet you anything, your town might have a Crybaby Bridge as well. In fact, there's another Crybaby Bridge up in Calhoun, Georgia, which is in the northern part of Georgia, where a woman was supposedly with her child at church when the church caught fire. The baby caught fire and the woman ran to the nearest creek or river and put the baby in the water and accidentally drowned the baby trying to get the fire off the baby. And because she felt so bad about it, she jumped off the bridge, killing herself as well. Now, if you just Google Crybaby Bridge, you're gonna see almost every state in our nation pop up with bridges that carry a very similar story. Another common story with Crybaby Bridges are stories that involve single women who get pregnant and have the baby and get rid of the child before society finds out. And this makes more sense to me. As I told you in our Werewolf of Georgia episode about Emmy, I don't believe that legends just start from nothing. I don't. they have to start from somewhere. And it is quite peculiar that so many different places have a legend that's very similar about some baby who's been murdered and still haunts a bridge. So I want to go back and look at logistically what could be happening. Was there a doctor who killed a baby in Columbus, Georgia because the family couldn't afford to feed the baby? I don't know. I couldn't find any type of reference sources that gave a name or anything like that. And I know I told you guys in one of our other episodes that I didn't want to do stories unless I could find actual history. But this is a little bit different because this is where I think these legends come from. When we go back and look at the story of these women getting rid of their children, this to me gives us a huge clue into the reality of the situation in the late 1800s and possibly early 1900s. You see, for women, for many centuries, not just here in America, but for most of Europe, a woman's survival in life was very much dependent upon her father and then eventually her husband. The whole marriage ceremony in the Western world of a woman wearing a white dress, her father walking her down the aisle and giving her to her husband is very symbolic of what really was happening to women. At this point, women weren't educated like men were. They weren't expected to work like men were unless they were very poor. Now, for a woman to be married to a man that was going to ensure her survival, she needed to be a virgin and to appear to be pure. So if a woman gets pregnant before she can be married off, this could mean a life of poverty, of social isolation, not to mention the fact that children born during that time who were not born into wedlock were not really accepted by society. So the child is also going to be damned to a not so pleasant life either. So it is my opinion that this is where these legends come from of Cry Baby Bridge. I do believe that in a lot of towns, women who got pregnant, whether they were pregnant from a beau, whatever the case, were probably able to hide their pregnancy from the town. And once the baby was born, I believe they probably went to these bridges to get rid of the child. I know that sounds heartbreaking and so sad. However, I believe that these women probably thought they were doing what was best for not only themselves, but for the child as well. And to me, that story is the one that makes the most sense. Now, obviously, Cry Baby Bridge is not the only one of these legends that live throughout the United States. And I believe one of my favorite podcasts, Murder, Myth, Mystery, I believe they actually go over some of these legends in some of their older podcasts, as well as the podcast Astonishing Legends talks about this too. So what do you think? Are you from Columbus, Georgia? Have you been to Cry Baby Bridge? Are you from Calhoun, Georgia? Have you been to your own Cry Baby Bridge? Are you from one of the other countless states or towns that has one of the same stories that you possibly think is unique to your town but isn't? Do you think these stories come out of pure desperation? Or is there something more malevolent, like a father wanting to get rid of a baby because he can't afford the baby? Give me your opinion. Anyway, thank you guys so much. As always, thank you to Josh McCabe for our music and for Todd Roderick for being our editor. And again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will see you soon. Bye.